Hey, Esther.
Hey, Caroline.
Okay, so today today's going to be a little different than most episodes of Glowing Up.
It sure is.
We're
Yeah.
kind of facing an issue head on,
Probably prematurely and unnecessarily.
but some would say that like now is the time to face it before you think you need to face it.
Okay.
I think that. I don't even know what the issue is yet, and I think that.
Okay, there's a third voice. We should introduce her. Esther, will you please introduce this wonderful person?
So today we have enlisted I guess you'd call her a couples therapist. She'll tell us better. I know her because once she and I aspired to be what some may call famous dancers. Anais Plasketes, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist.
Okay.
I see individuals and couples.
Okay.
So it's all kind of part of the practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So,
and we met, not Caroline, but Anais and I met at a Broadway Dance Center dance internship the summer of 2007 in New York City. We hit it off. We both wanted to be famous dancers. And what it takes us to the next level is that winter, right around the holiday season, I met Anais in New Jersey at her uncle's condo, and we spent the weekend together exploring the city. And at one point, we went to a diner with her uncle. It was very nice. That's what I remember.
I totally blacked out on that part too. Why
Really?
did we just wanted to reunite and go live our dreams again in the winter time?
We were both
because we were in New York in the summer.
We were both like, we have to get back to New York City. Like, it's the only answer to all of our problems. And so Anais is also absolutely stunning, tall, beautiful blonde, like has just, when you see her in person, she just is like, you're like, oh, she must be a rockette. Like, she just has a presence. And I'll never forget, she taught me that she likes to drink iced coffee even when it's cold out. And I was like, got it. Now I know.
Oh, that's beautiful. And thank you. Are you still drinking iced coffee when it's cold out?
Yes, always, every day.
Good. Okay.
Esther's memory is the best because she's stone cold sober, so she never forgets anything.
And for the record, I wasn't like drunk during any of this. I just it feels like so long ago.
It's
been like 10 different people since then, obviously. Yes. I'm a therapist now.
This was all in 2007, so that's a long time ago.
Wild. Esther, it was also when like So You Think You Can Dance was like super hot, so it was like that era too. That's like all the original dancers. Yeah.
Yes. So being a famous dancer was actually not a totally unrealistic goal.
No.
And so anyways, let's get to why we're here today. And it's not just to know what's in your coffee mug, but I would like to know.
I am curious.
Oh, it's Cold Season tea.
Okay.
Yogi brand.
Okay. Yeah. So write that down.
And okay. So wait, but are you in LA right now?
I'm currently in New Orleans. I've been here for like a couple months, and I was planning on, because I can work virtually from anywhere as long as my license is in California and my clients are there, which has been kind of cool. I mean, telehealth has been super weird and really hard to adjust to in a lot of ways, but so I've been in New Orleans because like my best friends are here, and so I have quite a community here. I was planning on going back to LA in January, but I'm still here.
I'm so jealous. I love New Orleans.
It's honestly been so nice to get out for a while. So I missed the big surge in LA and everything too.
Oh my God. Just nothing like popping back an oyster shooter and like hitting the streets and just like dancing.
Not that any of that's happening now. Yeah.
Fair enough.
But it is a beautiful place regardless of what we're going through.
So the reason we're here.
Yes, please take it away, Caroline.
So Esther and I obviously have what I would call a very lovable dynamic. The love is there. There's no question. I mean, we've been friends for years, but I would say that sometimes what's part of our lovable dynamic is a mutual putting down energy. And I don't know how else would you phrase that? Like we
like light teasing. And I
light
just
teasing.
want to say something very important. Is I actually feel like I have several relationships in my life that are like this. And the last one that I think needs any help is the one with Caroline. Like, I literally feel like I have very weird other relationships, and I actually feel like this one is so healthy.
So healthy, and there's a lot of praise and a lot of like mutual admiration. Like, there's so much good there. But I've been noticing that we've been getting some comments from our fans, who we call the Glomies, that the teasing on the podcast comes off. One fan accused me of being like incessantly, rabidly jealous of Esther because I tease her. The comment was so incisive and cutting that my jealousy is coming out, and like, stay strong, Esther. Like, Caroline's just like a bitter, jealous bitch. Like, and we've gotten
what is the context of that?
Well, it's hard to know exactly what she was talking about. I think we were maybe talking about our schedules, and Esther was making some kind of comment about how, like, I do more. I like Caroline. She's like, Esther's like, I'm really busy now, but I always remind myself that Caroline is also really busy, and Caroline does more. And I might have teased and said something like, don't you ever forget it, or like, damn straight, something like that, like something so innocuous. But like Esther was saying, I think this is as good a time as any to take inventory of where we are, take stock, get things out in the open, and just like make sure we're kind of standing, on solid ground as we go forward as podcast hosts. This is a first for me.
Yeah. Well, this is a first for us. I've had to do this in other professional situations.
Esther, has anyone like else contacted you in private? Like, have you gotten any messages from Glomies being like, Caroline is hurting you, stay strong?
Not really, no. And I honestly get those messages about other shows that I'm a part of. So I feel like I booked Anais on the wrong show, but I'm also eager to look, if this is what I do consider to be the healthiest relationship that I have professionally. So why not even tune it up and make it perfect? So I would love to dive in and figure out that.
Okay, so there's no such thing as perfection, as we know. And
that's what I was about to say.
Oh, Caroline. What's working for you, Esther? I mean, how would you describe what's happening now between you two? What's going well? Why is it the healthiest relationship you have?
Okay, so I would say that because Caroline and I both have such similar priorities and desires in life, I feel like we are both on the same page in so many ways, where we both like prioritize work, we prioritize things being funny, we both just I feel like we're both working towards the same goals. I also really respect her. I really think she is one of the funniest people I've ever met. I feel like she and I have the same taste. I also feel like I can say anything to her and not be judged. And she's also really smart, and she's such a good resource for me in my life. Like, I always feel like, oh my God, I can always ask Caroline advice. Like, she just knows so much. Like, she has this strong like immigrant mentality. Like, I think her mom is immigrated here from Iran, and I feel like she was really raised with that energy, and such a go-getter and a hustler. And I just admire that so much. And I also feel like we have somewhat similar, our parents are a little similar in different ways or whatever. So I feel like that stuff is really working.
Beautiful. Caroline, what about you? How would you identify the strength?
I feel exactly the same way as Esther, that this is one of the most fulfilling, positive relationships in my entire life. The same way that Esther feels she can go to me for advice, like that makes me feel amazing, because I feel the same way about Esther. Esther is the first person I go to, whether it's career advice, boy advice, like almost any kind of advice under the sun. I trust Esther's opinion above everyone else. And there's this interesting dynamic with Esther that I feel sometimes, where it's almost like we're both each other's older sister and younger sister. Like, like, I don't have a real sister, so sometimes I go to Esther and I'm like, oh my God, like, she's my older career sister. I can ask her anything. She's been there. She knows. but also sometimes I feel like I have this mothering energy towards her, and like I like want to give her advice or help on like what to cook, or like, you know, other like sisterly, more like homely, intimate things. So I just like get so much from my relationship with Esther. And like she said, I just feel like we both have this strong sense of self-advocacy in this world, which I think is so important, and like speaking up for ourselves. And I love that I have a female friend who's just like balls to the wall, ready to do that at all occasions, and like knows how to speak up for herself and be pushy. Um, I, I, yeah, I mean, I feel all the positives for sure.
And
It seems like there's something else you wanted to say.
I would say, I know you haven't asked this yet, but one thing that I wonder if this is what plays into the dynamic that people are picking up on is that, Esther, would you agree with this, that we both have a pretty low sense of self-esteem?
yes, we both, and our sense of humor is like, we like playing on that. Like when I think of the
Yes.
hardest times we've ever laughed together, it's like us laughing backstage at SNL that you're Richard Lewis and that I'm your son, or just like making fun of ourselves.
Defeminization is a very, and desexualization is a very big part of our sense of humor and the teasing.
Or like laughing that table of hot guys across the way would never talk to us, and like
Yes.
laughing about
Yes.
how we would go up and like try to be sexy to them and they would like shoo us away.
It very much, there's a big portion of it that resides in like absolutely ridiculing each other's looks, which I think we're just both such funny, low self-esteem people who have like capitalized on the ability to make fun of ourselves, that we have such a thick skin. And like I can say without, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that it does not hurt my feelings in any way, anything that you say to me. Like it's, I just get such a sense of glee and delight from it. But I can see why maybe the audience is sometimes off put by this aggressive putting each other's looks, sexuality, and bodies down. Well, it's really tough
well,
to.
Of course,
yeah.
But it also sounds like neither one of you think that's a problem. Like
right.
You kind
Not
of
for
bonded
me.
over it. Okay. Okay.
Same.
Esther.
Same. And I also would add something that I think, I don't know if I've ever articulated this out loud, but it's something I've always felt, which is I feel like Caroline and I have been really smart and like low-key strategic about not being in having every inch of our lives intertwined, but rather we have this like really strong bond and friendship and like work-wife partnership. But I feel like I don't want to be intertwined in her every, like I feel like that's like a secret to our success that I would say that I've like actively thought about, that she's not a really codependent person, so that's probably comes naturally to her, but I am. And so I've been like, okay, this is actually we're at the right level of closeness.
So talk more about why you don't want to be so intertwined, why it's so important to you.
Because I've been in professional relationships before where you get too close and you're talking every night, like you FaceTime all night and all day, and that just has always led to problems. And I like that Caroline and I both have our own completely separate lives, but then we can come together and be like, and really succeed together.
Beautiful.
It's the perfect balance. It's so true. I feel like I have very strong boundaries, and I feel like Esther's picked up and like matched my energy on that in a really great way. But like we can, in a way that I love, like if we need to be codependent for a second, or like if I need her to be completely available and like answer 100 texts, or like get on a FaceTime to answer the stupidest question, like I love that she will and can do that. Like I feel like she'll always, you know, barring if she's like super busy with something, like drop everything to be there for me. And I feel like pretty much vice versa, like if we need it. But I feel like we're both very strong together and strong separately.
Mm-hmm.
So where are the areas for improvement then, do you think?
That's the question. I was hoping you would be.
Well,
give me.
Oh, Esther's got
Sorry.
some. Okay.
I'll volunteer something that I think is one of my faults that I'm bringing, which is sometimes I feel like guilty of not doing or not being as successful at some of the prep work for the podcast as Caroline. And I could sometimes lean on that in sort of a, high school group project, like, oh, well, you're better at this anyway. And so I feel like that could definitely be something that I do, but that I try to be I do try to be self-aware, and like I try to make up for it, but I definitely know that that's a tendency that I have.
How is that to hear, Caroline?
It's really refreshing and amazing to hear Esther vocalize that. I'm not going to lie to you.
Good.
I Esther is like the first to admit her faults, which is like a really, really amazing quality. Like she's never in denial, and like she's totally self-aware in a way that's really refreshing. But sometimes like Esther's, let's say, like, will baby herself in a way that's like, it's like a self-protection or something like that. And I'm like more of a capable person, and I'm like happy to rise to the challenge. But I will say, like, my way of coping with that is I just will like force her to do stuff, even if I know she doesn't want to, or she might not have the capacity. I just won't even care. And I'll just be like, you're doing this, do this.
Yeah,
And I
true.
just
So
don't.
then you kind of go into that maternal role again.
Yes, I would
Yes.
say so. Like, I would say my tolerance for I'll reach my breaking point if she's not doing work, and I'll just make her do something. And I which I'm proud of, at least, that I'm able to like in my head gain some of the balance back by putting stuff on her plate and making her do it, whether
Like
she wants
demanding
to.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. What
And I
is
don't
this
know if
babying
that's
you speak of that you experience of Esther? Can you give an example?
Well, one example that comes to mind is I think it is so funny and endearing, but crazy, that Esther does not have a computer and does all of her work on an iPad, because genuine there are genuine things that you need to do on a computer. And I'm not even trying to make this like a class thing, or like, I'm not trying to shame her, because she's obviously made it this far in life and God bless. But like, she can't participate in like Google Docs, or like find old emails, or like these little things, like I think are harder for her to do because she doesn't have a proper computer. So then it's like, oh, of course the person that with the computer has to do the work.
Okay.
And then I'm like, but wait, like you should just have a computer and you should learn how to do these things. And
Esther, what's happening with you right now?
Yeah, I can see how the not having a computer has caused some issues. Yeah, no, and that, as she's saying it, I am just kind of like, wow.
but then I'm like,
Yeah.
does she not know how to use a computer? I'm like, maybe it's unrealistic of me to want her to have a computer, because she might genuinely not know how to use a computer. These are real thoughts that go through my head.
Well, and this is about the amount of work you take on if she doesn't have a computer, right? Not as much just about her not having a computer.
Right. I think that
Yeah.
it's almost like this coping mechanism that she's evolved to have, where she can't help but put the work on other people because she doesn't have the tools at her disposal. But it would be really easy to get those tools.
Good. So we're identifying a need here.
Mhm.
Esther, I just heard you repeat back what Caroline said, which was beautiful. You seem fully present, like you're listening. So what is the need then, Caroline? It's not, I mean, we're not asking her to go out and buy a computer right now.
Okay. I need Esther to pull her weight in the relationship work-wise. I don't want to ask her to go get a computer, because I do not know that she has the means or abilities to use or buy one. But yes, but I always want Esther to be presently aware of the work that is required in our partnership, which I do feel she
I'm
is.
thinking, okay. And I'm thinking too about the position it puts you in to go into this place where you have to demand that she does something and get it done. Like, can it be preventative? Can we prevent you from getting to that place?
Yes. And I do
know?
also want to say that I don't think this is so dire, because I think that Esther brings so many strengths in other ways. You know, like Esther's the funniest person I know. And like, I always know when we start recording, like she's gonna, pull her weight and be so funny and so outgoing and so hilarious, and like be the heart and soul of our partnership. So I'm not stressed. I'm not pressed. Like, Esther pulls her weight in other ways, even if she doesn't have a computer. But it is, and it is something I've heard other people in her life bring up too, but I don't want to, I shouldn't go there.
Okay.
And
Esther, how are you feeling right now?
I feel, I think it was nice that she said that I pull my weight in other ways. And I do want to acknowledge that her quote unquote demanding that I do stuff is always done really like playfully, and like I never feel bad about it. I just know that when she's like, you're doing this, I'm like, I know like, okay, I'm doing that. Like I take it and I do it. I know that she does it. It never is like a bad thing on my end when she does that, but I can see how maybe we would want to preferably prevent that.
Only if you think so. I mean, look, it's clear how much you respect each other. We started out with strengths for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't think it's a problem, it doesn't have to be a problem. We're just diving into dynamics now.
No, it's something to keep an eye on, but like,
Okay.
yeah.
In terms of the computer, I definitely have lately, I started another job recently where I do feel like it could be useful that I do have a computer. I didn't realize that Zoom is so much more, you can do so much more on Zoom when you're not using it on the iPad. So I'm thinking like maybe that's something I could consider, but I do wonder what would I be able to do once I have said computer that would help things.
Maybe, yeah, that's something for you to think about. Do you think that you'd be able to pull your weight in more areas of your life if you had a more advanced computer processing system? That's not for me to answer. And I feel like we've learned to cope without it.
Mm-hmm.
The computer's more of a symbol, really.
A symbol of what would you say, Caroline?
Esther's self-coddling and sometimes not self-sabotaging, but like setting yourself up for failure or setting yourself up to have others pull the weight.
Right. Setting myself up to not be able to do the things that I should probably be able to do.
Right.
So does that resonate with you, Esther?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And is this kind of a pattern in other relationships too? Or is it unique to this one?
I would say it's a pattern for sure. Yeah, it's a pattern. And I also can fall easily into this, like, where I'll select my like few people who I really trust and who I really believe in, and I'll feel so comfortable with their abilities that then I feel like I can do less and don't have to like stress out or like micromanage or make sure everything's okay. So it's almost like, so I think in my head I'm like, oh well, it's both a good thing for that. It's also a positive, but that's still not fair to them. But Caroline,
positive in the way that you really trust that person and it feels safe.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I do want to emphasize that like Esther does bring the strengths in so many other ways, and it's not all like the hard work of like who's prepping or like who's putting in the hours that way. Like Esther has other amazing strengths, and like, you know, that's as important. If that's definitely as important.
Glomies, it's time to talk about one of me and Caroline's favorite topics. It's period care. You know, period care is, there's a lot of problems out there with it. There's a lot. And if you're looking for a period product that looks out for your body, your lifestyle, and the planet, which to me is pretty much non-negotiable at this point, you've got to try Flex. Flex is innovating period care with products that are body safe, made for comfort, and made to keep you moving. The Flex disc is a one-time use menstrual disc that fits perfectly inside your body, and one Flex disc can be worn for up to 12 hours and holds as much flow as 3 super tampons. What? It's not a cup. It's unlike any other period product you've seen before. And it's the only product you can wear for mess-free period sex. Period sex. Yes, I'm humming that to the tune of the Crazy Ex-Girlfriend song because I love it so much. Flux discs reduce waste by 60% compared to pads and tampons, so the planet will thank you too. And if you want to go zero waste, check out the Flux Cup, a reusable cup made with a velvety soft material for a comfortable fit. If you've thought about trying a menstrual cup, this is the one. Flex offers the only menstrual cup on the market with a pull tab, so you remove it the way you'd remove a tampon. It's easy, you already know how to use it. And your Flex cup is 100% reusable and lasts for years. It's completely body safe and non-toxic. Flex products are worth the learning curve, and Flex has videos, diagrams, FAQs, and even live chat Flexperts on their website to help you along the way. So say goodbye to leaks, mess, and stress, and say hello to healthier periods for people and the planet with Flex. Go to flexfits.com and use code GLOWING for 20% off the Flex disc starter kits or 10% off your first Flex cup plus free US shipping. That's code GLOWING at flex, F-L-E-X, fits.com. Glow means Caroline and I are so excited to partner with Ned. Okay, you know CBD has become extremely popular in the past year, which makes it more and more difficult to navigate and choose the right company and the right product. That's where Ned comes in. They produce the highest quality full spectrum CBD extracted from organically grown hemp plants, all sourced from an independent farm in Paonia, Colorado. I've never heard of it, but it sounds spectacular. They're a wellness brand and they offer science-backed and nature-based solutions that offer an alternative to prescription and over-the-counter drugs. Ned does not cut corners nor spare expense when it comes to CBD production. They are doing it the best in the biz. You guys, cannabinoids, I can say the word, have a wide range of benefits and regulate nearly every biological system in the human body. Some of the best known uses are as a sleep aid, anti-inflammatory, natural pain reliever, treat anxiety and PTSD, treat depression, a rich source of antioxidants, treatment of serious chronic conditions. Okay, CBD is legit. And Ned products are like, they're so high end. I trust this brand so much. The research and the studies that they've done, I feel like they really know what they're doing. And they set out to kind of be the number one, and I feel like they're nailing it. And our promo code is glowing up, and you can get 15% off your first purchase or 20% off your first membership purchase. And membership has so many perks, including 15% off every purchase, and it's the real deal. So if you want to check out Ned and try their CBD for yourself, we have a special offer for our podcast audience. So go to www.helloned.com/glowingup or enter code glowingup at checkout for 15% off your first one-time order or 20% off your first subscription order plus free shipping. That's HELLONED.com/glowingup to get 15% off your first one-time order or 20% off your first subscription order plus free shipping. Thank you to Ned. And I do just want to shout out their full spectrum hemp oil, their hemp infused body butter, their hemp infused lip balm. They have really high-end, awesome products you guys will love.
I have another potential area I want to bring up.
Okay.
Esther and I were talking a little bit about boundaries before. And one thing that I feel that sometimes I feel like maybe I have too many boundaries with Esther and it makes Esther sad. Like I'm not always there to, one area is going on walks together. Esther has been really vocal about wanting to spend time together in person and go on socially distant, obviously safe walks. And I, like we mentioned before, it's the boundaries, but I'm also really busy and have all this other stuff going on. And sometimes I feel like Esther gets a little upset because I can't always be there for that. And I just want to vocalize that I hope Esther doesn't get upset. And I also hope, I don't want to take Esther for granted. And I want to make sure I am nourishing and putting work into the relationship where it's needed. And I don't want Esther to feel like abandoned or like I'm taking her for granted or I'm not showing up in the ways that I need to show up.
Okay. Esther, can you respond to Caroline and respond directly to her? How it was to hear that and which part of that resonates with you?
I appreciate you saying that. It's nice. Yeah, it's nice to hear you say that. Like we both can see that, but I also respect the boundaries. I respect that you're busy, and yeah, it's not like a huge deal where I'm like, oh, I wish you would make time for me, because I feel like if I did feel that way, I think I would vocalize it. Like, but I guess I do have like a slight insecurity of, do I like Caroline more than she likes me? And do I want to hang out with her more? But I also don't even know if I mean that. Like, that's just one thing. Because at the same time, Caroline, you are always asking me if I want to come to these dinners that you have, or like, you are always including me in things. So maybe I'm wrong. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe what I'm saying doesn't make sense, but you are always, one thing, like whenever you are telling me about like plans you have, you always offer for me to come with. Now you might know that I'm always going to say no, so maybe it's a safe invite, but you do always include me.
I do know you're always going to say no, but I do it because I love you and I would love to have you there. And it comes from a place of love and wanting you to feel included. But I think that's really interesting what you just said, Esther, about like having this slight insecurity that you like me more than I like you, because sometimes I even have that insecurity. I think this just speaks, I think, to how much we care about each other, or we like love each other's friendship, but both have like a bit of a jealous or insecure streak. Because when I see you hanging out with anyone on social media, like a small part of me is like, oh my God, like Esther like has so many friends, like she doesn't even care about me. Like it's not all the time, but like if I'm in like a low place or I'm particularly self-hating or I haven't talked to you in a minute, like I'm like, oh my God, like I miss Esther. But I think that's really sweet in a kind of sad way that we both have some of these insecurities.
Esther, how is that to hear?
Yeah, that's really nice to hear. Like, one thing about Caroline is I noticed early on in our friendship is she's not like a complainer or a whiner. And if she even like accidentally lets herself complain about something in her life, she'll immediately be like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be like putting that on you. And then I always would find myself being like, no, like I want you to share your life with me. And I feel like we're at a good balance now, but that was something I noticed about her early on, like maybe, and I don't know if that's just her disposition in life, like she just doesn't like to complain, or she doesn't want to share that with me because she has a boundary. So that, I don't know, that's just something that came up.
It also seems to, I mean, that's come up a little in the session already, Caroline, right? You say something that's coming up for you, but then you want to make sure that I know that there's so many strengths Esther has. Almost like you're taking care of her in a way.
Totally. I think I'm a natural conflict resolver, or I have I've been told off the charts emotional intelligence. So I'm sometimes too attuned to other people's feelings, and I'm like too much serving that role of like resolving or taking care of others. But no, I feel, yeah, this is just reminding me of like how strong this relationship is. Just to step out for a second, I'm really grateful for the haters who encouraged, who accused me of being, I think the word was painfully or pitifully jealous, because it's only brought us closer together and made us stronger.
Anything else on the note of boundaries? That's come up a couple of times, and I'm wondering if there's any examples of that, or anything, even Esther, for you that you need from Caroline. Caroline's done more of the need assertion here.
No, I feel like it's a pretty healthy boundary situation. Yeah, I really like, again, I really respond well to the boundaries that we have. And I really admire, I genuinely feel like our level of friendship is something that people should aspire to. Like I wish I wish more of my relationships were like this. I and again, like, I feel guilty saying that because I know that sometimes the whole computer issue, like, am I taking advantage of Caroline? Like, I feel bad there, but ultimately it does feel like such a successful relationship. And I feel like for me, the door is always open to do anything else together. Whereas I feel like maybe she knows, like, getting into projects with me, it could maybe be like more work on her end. So maybe she's a little more closed off to that. But that's just, again, me bringing up like a possible insecurity.
Okay. How does that land with you, Caroline?
It's definitely interesting. I think that on a subconscious level, I might sometimes be fearful of like doing other projects with Esther because it might. Oh, yeah, okay, that reminds me. I have an insecurity and like I want to publicly air something right now. Esther and I talked earlier in the pandemic about going into business on something together, and I'm going to be vague about what it is because you never know, it still could happen.
Mm-hmm.
And we really talked about it. It was like in the ideation stage, which is the easiest stage. And it was like really fun to talk about. And we started doing some work and on it and like bringing other people into it. And I feel like I maybe talked a bigger game of like wanting to take the project to fruition without realizing that maybe I had too much on my plate at the time. And instead of maybe it kind of like fizzled out, and Esther and I are both busy with a million other things. And I know it's not like the biggest deal in the world, but I wish that I kind of manned up and said like, Esther, because Esther gave me outs too. She'd be like, are you too busy? Like, do you not want to do this? Like, I'm picking up from your actions that maybe you're not capable, but I'm just ever the people pleaser, like, oh, I can do it. Don't worry. Like, I'm still there. And then I think I even like tried to dump some of it on Esther because I was like too busy. And then it just kind of fizzled out naturally. But I just want to say, like, I hope that didn't put a sour taste in your mouth, Esther. And I'm sorry that I didn't like man up and say, even when you gave me multiple chances to say it, like, I'm too busy for this project right now. I don't think I can handle this. But it was really fun. But like for future projects, whether it's that or if we do something else together, it's like something I'm definitely really open to. But yeah, part of me wonders, I think it's like a timing thing. Like, when will we both be at the right time in our lives? Like, maybe like we'll both have more life experience. Like Esther will have a computer maybe by that point. Like, I'm like not kidding. And then maybe it'll make more sense. I'm not sure what the future holds, but I'm like so open to it. And I don't hold Esther's actions against her in any way, if that makes sense. And I'm like totally open to anything the future holds.
Esther, I want to give you a chance to respond to that.
Yeah, I think we're actually on the complete same page with that project, the mystery project. I actually feel exactly the same. Like, I think we both thought it was something we could take on. Other things became bigger on our plates, and we both just kind of like put that on the back burner, which felt like the right thing to do for both of us. And so I don't hold any resentment or anything in that world, because I also feel like if I wanted to, I could just pin you down and be like, what's going on with blank project? Let's figure this out. But I haven't, because I'm in the same position as Caroline, as you. And so in my mind, I do see a world where that mystery project could occur, but we would just probably we would know how to go into it, maybe with like a team member that could run point on it. Mm-hmm. Like, that to me seems like that's always on the table, something we could do.
Totally. That's a relief to hear. Happy to get that out in the open.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, no problem.
Glomies, quality sleep is a hot commodity, in this day and age, and also forever and ever. I know I have trouble falling asleep. I'm a person whose brain just doesn't stop. In fact, it quite frankly does the opposite. Once it's asked to stop is when it actually really starts. Some things that I've tried, all the normal stuff, but there's one thing that has actually worked, which is New Calm. And New Calm is an all-natural, reliable system that enhances your sleep by flipping the switch from tired to powerfully relaxed. New Calm primes your body and mind so that you can receive the deep and restorative sleep that you need. New Calm is the only system of its kind, and it's clinically proven in over 1 million sessions. What? To improve your sleep, reduce your stress, and boost your recovery without drugs and side effects. The New Calm system uses cutting-edge neuroscience and consists of 3 non-invasive and non-pharmaceutical items, all of which are included in your monthly subscription that costs less than a daily cup of coffee. The whole process is easy to use, and it's easy to work into your daily routine to achieve better sleep, reduction in stress, and boost in recovery. So do what Caroline and I did, own the day with New Calm, and make 2021 the year you improve your sleep. We have a special link set up specifically for our listeners. Go to glowingupnewcalm.com and get 50% off your 30-day subscription of New Calm and a money-back guarantee. So it's kind of like, why wouldn't you try it? Because you can potentially do it for free if it doesn't work. That's glowingupnewcalm.com. glowingupnewcalm.com.
Let me ask you something. When was the last time you glowed up your poop game? Yeah. I can see you're still thinking about that. Well, now it's time to take the next step in poop technology and embrace my favorite product, the Hello Tushy. Let's be honest. I love my Hello Tushy. I use it all the time. I don't even like using toilet paper anymore, straight up. And okay, bidets are the way, but usually bidets are so expensive and cost thousands of dollars. But the Hello Tushy 3.0 modern bidet attachment, it's affordable, easy to install, it's stylish, and it's eco-friendly. It doesn't just cleanse your butt with a precise stream of fresh water. It cleans itself before and after it's used with a smart spray automatic self-cleaning nozzle. It attaches to your existing toilet, requires no electricity or additional plumbing, and it cuts toilet paper use by 80%. So the Hello Tushy bidet pays for itself in a few months. I truly have not looked back. I don't miss toilet paper whatsoever. Because of my Hello Tushy, I just poop, spray, dry, and go. No toilet paper necessary. And sanitation is simple because the Schmutz Shield offers easy cleaning and the knobs are naturally antimicrobial. Plus, and this is the best part, every Hello Tushy bidet attachment comes with a 60-day risk-free guarantee and a 12-month warranty. You already got a tush on your pot? I respect that. But now you can upgrade to the 3.0 model. And if you're new to the revolution, join millions of happy Hello Tushy customers right now and have a clean butt with every flush. For the rump you love to hump, this Valentine's Day, give the gift of Hello Tushy. Go to hellotushy.com/glowup to get 10% off plus free shipping. This is a special offer for our listeners. Go to hellotushy.com/glowup for 10% off. And again, that's hellotushy.com/glowup.
So what do we need from each other moving forward? You've opened up communication here really beautifully.
Definitely. What do I need from Esther? A continued self-awareness and acknowledgement, or willingness to pick up slack in areas where it might not come as naturally to her, but to show that she's trying always makes the difference. And I always encourage her to keep holding my feet to the fire and calling me out when I'm do something that's not okay, or she needs me to do something differently, a continued honesty with each other. I just value our honesty so much. And that is just want to see that continue on. And yeah.
Yeah. I just have to say, I think it's interesting. We've been working together for maybe close to 5 years now. And I can't think of a serious fight or a moment where I'm like, oh, I hate Caroline. Like I just have never had that feeling with Caroline. So I just feel like that's such a success to me. And in terms of going forward, I feel like you said, Anais, like we've opened up like clearly like a newer channel of communication, and maybe just moving forward, keeping that up and airing out, just knowing that each person is a safe space for the other. And maybe that means like we could both help each other grow. Like maybe Caroline could pull me aside and say, Esther, I really think you need a computer, and here's why I think you need a computer. Like that's something that if she did that, that would actually be not something selfish. That would be something that would be really helpful to me. So just things like that, like anytime where she maybe doesn't want to tell me, maybe she doesn't want to bother me with something, but knowing that like I would love to hear any constructive criticism from her at any point. And
how it impacts her, because the computer thing impacts her, right?
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying rush out and go buy a computer tomorrow. I get it.
Esther,
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
This is why I was saying in the beginning, it's actually a good thing that there's no heightened escalated conflict right now. We're not in crisis mode. This is like preventative care. This is what makes your relationship sustainable, not perfect. Let's use sustainable instead of perfect.
Just knowing that Esther is open to the possibility of buying a computer that's all I really needed to hear.
That is curious, Esther.
That I don't have one?
Yeah. So we don't have to revisit it, but I'm still down.
Well, maybe now Anais is going into friend mode. Transitioning from therapist to MFT to friend. And now we're both
I honestly hadn't thought about it much. I do have a desktop in a storage place somewhere. I probably realistically need to get a decent laptop. I need to just get a laptop. Maybe this is the sign I needed. And maybe that'll help me in all areas of my life, actually. Because I recently was wondering, am I able to write a script on my iPad? And Caroline shaking her head, no.
Well, do you have like a keyboard for your iPad? Like, what do you?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I do want to reiterate. The answer is no. You cannot write a script on an iPad.
Is that true?
I don't think you can. No.
I was also recently in another work situation where I was having to borrow Dave's laptop. So you can
still use your iPad as your primary means of computing.
Right, but just have the computer.
And I'm going to go into therapist mode again for a minute, though. Sorry to interrupt you, Caroline.
No, please.
But what actually gets in the way of getting a laptop?
Just thinking I didn't need it, like thinking that I love my iPad so much, and I feel like
we're really attached to the iPad.
Yes, I actually have like a. Go ahead, Caroline.
Oh, I don't want to. We're touching on something here, I think.
You actually have a what? No, I want to hear from you first, Esther.
I actually have a really deep emotional connection to my iPad because in the beginning of the pandemic, like I was really not doing well for other reasons. Like I was just having a hard time, like homesickness and all that. And my iPad like became my only source of like love. Like it was like my connection to like surfing the web about my hometown and like FaceTiming with my friends and family. So, and in fact, there was one day where it wasn't working and I was like, it was such a heightened, I know everyone gets worked up when their electronics aren't working, but this was like a deep, like I definitely have a creepy, like deep connection with my iPad.
Well, Esther also has a term for her time with her iPad.
What is it?
Tablet time.
And yeah, there's something, I think we're touching on something here.
Wow.
Yeah. And
but you can still have your tablet time once you get a laptop too. You can have both.
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
And I would love to see you work on strengthening your skills in the realm of laptop computing. And, I would love to see you strengthen some of those alternate computer skills, because I don't want to see you become too reliant on the iPad. Because I'm afraid you're gonna put yourself out of the workforce.
I am so glad this is happening, because I did recently start a new job as a writer producer, and I am going to have to write a script at some point. And I don't like, knowing me and my personal tendencies, I would just be like, well, I guess I just have to figure it out on my iPad, or like borrow days. Like, I wouldn't just like take the next step and be like, buy a laptop. Like, there's something that would stop me from doing that. So I'm really glad this is like a good wake up call. Like, I'm a professional person, I should have that.
But, and I'm really, and maybe we're not going to figure this out right now, but like, what is the thing that actually stops you? I'm not convinced as like surface level as we've just kind of touched on. Just to think.
Yeah. Maybe an insecurity, like I don't deserve
Caroline.
I actually don't want to attempt to explain what I think. Never mind.
Okay.
We'll never know.
Esther, was it okay that we spent this much time talking about your iPad and this laptop? Okay.
Yes, I'm comfortable.
I'm checking in with you.
She loves it.
Okay.
I think that was very productive.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. You're so healthy. You can quote me on that.
Really?
I'll type it in your comments too.
There you have it.
You're really
you have it. That's a professional opinion, folks.
Wow.
Even the way you listened to each other and held space for each other, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Anais, thank you so much. And
thank you.
Will you tell our audience, like, I don't know if you're allowed to like share this, but like, where can they find you, or like, can they see you, or, visit you? Like, what can you say?
Find me on a screen somewhere. My website is anaisplasketes.com. You'll find information about everything I do there. I also teach sex ed and consult in a variety of ways on fun topics. So you'll find out more there. And I do have a couple of openings in my private practice now. Yeah.
Do you have to be located in California to see you?
Yes.
Okay.
California residents only.
We'll put your website in the episode description.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for doing the work and getting your hands dirty here.
Thank you so much. And I want to just also say that as soon as I found out that this was what you were doing, I really wanted you to become my couples counselor, but then you told me that we couldn't be friends anymore.
I said pick.
So I chose not to, but I'm jealous of anyone that can use you for those services, because I really wish I could.
Did you ever find someone?
We did, yeah. Good. We did.
Good.
I'm a big believer in the maintenance for like we go like on and off when we feel like, oh, we need to start going, and it's changed our lives. It's
good for you.
Fun. Yeah.
Oh, that gives me so much hope.
Yeah.
That's great. This was good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please.
Okay. See you soon.